bar chords. But how do you play them cleanly without your hand feeling exhausted or hurting after like 2 minutes? Chances are you're working harder than you need to, and you're not alone. Almost everyone approaches them this way at first. So I spent some time digging into method books from the last 300 years or so to see what the old masters had to say. The three things they all seem to keep repeating were leverage, posture, and selective pressure. The problem isn't that you can't force a bar, it's that you can. And this often leads to building unnecessary effort into your technique. You want to learn how to gently place the bar. It should not be causing you pain. Before we go any further, grab your guitar, if you haven't already, and pick a bar chord. Any bar chord. A major. Why not? Before you play it, say these 3 words in your head to remind yourself what to bring your attention to. Grip, thumb, and arm. Grip. Are you squeezing the neck? If you're gripping too hard, you're using more effort than necessary, and your hand is going to get tired a lot faster than it needs to. Which brings us to thumb. Where is it? Is it roughly behind your index finger or hanging over the top of the fretboard? Is it more vertical, horizontal? Is it hovering? Are you squeezing? Where is it? You're going to want to play around with different thumb positions to find what takes the least amount of effort and where you can place it so that you're less likely to squeeze, which is likely going to be right behind your bar finger, touching at that first crease in your thumb. So you're kind of hitchhikery like that, right in that crease. You can even try practicing your bar chords without your thumb at all. Remember, it's just there to provide a little thing to balance on. It's not really providing pressure or squeezing with it. You don't want to rely on the thumb too much. Which brings us to our arm. What is the arm doing? Try to let the weight of your arm pull your finger into the fretboard. This is where all the force to press the strings down comes from, rather than squeezing your thumb and first finger together. Now, when you pull down and back with your fretting hand, the body of the guitar naturally wants to push forward. So you're going to want to use the weight of your right arm, not force of your right arm, but the weight of your right arm as the counterbalance. It's like the most boring seesaw in the world, where nobody's going up or down, it's just staying perfectly balanced. When done correctly, this should feel more like you're leaning on the finger rather than pressing with it. Relax into the guitar. Think of it like a rest stop. Now, I know the word relax is thrown around pretty often, and it's usually easier said than done. What does it really even mean to relax anyway? I view it as simply releasing unnecessary tension and tension. Another word that pops up way too often, and we're just supposed to know how to stop tensing up. Take a moment, breathe, and scan your body to see where you may be feeling tightness. Try to breathe into that and let it go. Make sure you're only using the muscles you need to play. Everything else is just extra work that you can let go of. If you rely on squeezing, you'll feel it burning in your hand. Rely on leverage, and the larger muscles take on the work, giving you both power and endurance. Now, let's talk about posture. If you're constantly fighting against gravity or bad positioning, you're, again, making things way harder than they need to be. A footstool, which I use mostly, or some sort of guitar support, something like this. I also use this when I don't feel like having my leg up or my back, the footstool. Those are 2 options to get the guitar into an optimal position. I personally like to hold the guitar at this angle, and thanks to gravity, the weight of my arm is naturally bringing my fingers down into the strings. This allows my arm to do more of the heavy lifting or pulling, whatever. I'm just briefly touching on posture here. There is a lot more to be said about it, but that's kind of beyond the scope of this video right now. But it is important for all of your playing, not just for bar chords. So you really do want to discover for yourself what the best way for you to sit is, because it's going to play one of the biggest roles in your playing. It's how you're sitting for hours at a time if you're practicing that much. Now that you've got your posture figured out, let's talk about finger placement. Instead of laying your finger completely flat on the strings, a slight change in either angle or the curve of the finger can make your bar much more effective. Try the slight finger roll. Rotate your index finger a bit onto its side to use the harder edge of the finger, rather than the soft, fleshy part. This slight twist of the first finger lets a bit of bone contact the strings, providing a firmer surface to press down with. It also is going to bring the finger closer to the fret if done correctly, which will improve clarity. Take note of the creases in your finger. If the string is directly below a crease, it's going to be much more difficult to press down, and it might even buzz. So make slight adjustments up and down until you find that ideal position. This can vary sometimes too, like when you're playing a bar that doesn't go all the way down to the 6th string. So you'll need to adjust depending on how many strings you're barring. 6, 5, or 4. Often, you don't actually need to press every point of the finger equally. This way, you're not squeezing the entire finger down needlessly all the time. You almost never need to press down on all strings at once. I can really only think of like one piece that actually calls for that, and that's the finale of Hinastere's Guitar Sonata. And if you're watching this, you probably aren't playing that piece just yet. Enter selective pressure. Selective pressure means only pressing down the strings that you need for whatever chord you're playing. In most cases, that's really only 2 or 3 strings. Take a 6-string major bar chord. Did you know that you only need to press down on the 6th, 2nd, and 1st strings with your bar finger? The middle strings are held down by your other fingers, meaning the bar is only responsible for a few key notes. Try isolating these strings when you practice and only pressing them down. You don't need to press these down. You can leave these buzzing, whatever. Nothing's affected below here. So I'm only applying pressure to the strings I need. So the exercise is all about getting in and out of the bar gently and only applying pressure where you need it. So you're going to start at the G string, 5th fret, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, bar, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, bar, 2, 3, 4. You're just going in and out, and you're only applying pressure to the string you need. And you can do this on all strings. And you can also do it where you're playing with the first finger and the bar on a different string than the other 2 fingers. So you can practice holding out a note like you do in a lot of classical guitar pieces. So I'm going to let this note ring out while I play with the other 3 fingers. Remembering only applying pressure to what I need. Don't squeeze a bar chord any harder or longer than required. For instance, if a bar chord lasts 1 beat, play it for 1 beat. Hold it for 1 beat. You don't need to choke the neck beyond that beat. Practice this pressure release drill. Bar an A major chord, strum it, then immediately release the pressure to mute. Then press again, then release. This pump action trains you to default to a relaxed state and only engage pressure when actively sounding notes. It breaks the habit of constant squeezing. So bar chords don't have to be a struggle. By using leverage, good posture, and selective pressure, you can make them way easier on your hands. See you in the next video.